Cheap Not Broke fam, welcome back to the channel. Thank you all for tuning in. Please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. We are on the road to 20,000 subscribers, and I got 4 new subscribers last week. Shout out to all my new subscribers. If you hit that subscribe button last week, you are very much appreciated. And yes, we're gonna get into it tonight. What is today? Today is April 15th. Most people's most hated day in America. I don't know if it's that, but it's the most disliked day in America. It is tax day. The deadline to file your taxes is today. Uncle Sam, he said, I need that money and I need it now. I need it today. And that's what you got to do. So if you don't know, you're supposed to file your taxes today. If you haven't, file for an extension. If not, I'm not the tax man. I don't know. I'm not the tax expert. That's not my thing. People always ask me, "Oh, you're an accountant. Can you do my taxes?" No, I cannot. There are tax accountants. There are people who just do taxes, and they are accountants, and they cost a lot of money. You got tax attorneys, tax accountants. You got all kind of different tax people out there. I'm not one of them. I'm not one of them. I understand taxes a little bit for myself to make sure I don't get in no trouble, but I don't understand tax for everybody else. But one thing I do know, you got to pay them. You better pay them taxes. If you don't pay them taxes, you already know what it is. You got to pay your taxes. Paying taxes is important. Now, is paying your taxes bad? No, because paying your taxes, it does help a lot of services. We do need a lot of things when it comes to taxes. Taxes are necessary. You got to pay the taxes because you got to know what's going on. You got to know what's happening, and you got to know we just need taxes. Okay, we can't just everything can't pay for itself. Here's the problem: taxation is not visible enough. We don't know what's going on. It's not like we can see the accounts, how much money is in the tax account, what they doing, how much they spending it on, how much they got, how much interest they're drawing. That's what I want to know. How much are you collecting total in these tax accounts? That's what I would like to know. That's the number one question for me. My hair under them headphones. Yeah, that's the number one question for me. How much is in these accounts when you're collecting taxes? Because I know it's billions of dollars, and those billions of dollars make interest. They make a lot of money. They keep talking about they're running out of Social Security money. How so? I know that account draws money, and then everybody doesn't make it to Social Security age. What happens to their money? We don't know because they'll never show us the accounts. So that's what I want to know. Where is that money? How do they do it? How do they account for that money? And how much are they making in interest? And how much is in their total? But we'll never know that. That's what they're not going to tell us. So that's the thing about taxes. They tax us all the time, but you don't know how much you got to pay in taxes. But anyway, if you have today's show, taxation, make sure you file your taxes. I don't know. I don't do my own taxes. I hire somebody to do my taxes for me. I don't like taxes. Taxes is confusing. It's a lot. It's called the tax code for a reason. What you gotta do with a code? You gotta crack a code. So taxes is not my thing. I don't do the taxes. I suggest if you don't have a person to do your taxes, you should find one. Now, if you're good with H&R Block and not H&R Block, they do it for you. Damn, what's the tax? What's the thing that does TurboTax? That's it, TurboTax. If you know taxes well enough, go ahead and do TurboTax on your own. I'm not doing TurboTax. Last time I tried TurboTax cost me some money, and I said no. TurboTax turbo my return, and I didn't get that money, so I'm not fooling with TurboTax. But if you want to, go for it. That's your thing. But anyway, taxes. When did it? Nothing. I'm a black person. I don't think black people should be paying taxes. Think about all the horrible, horrific things that have happened to black people. Why do we have to pay taxes? And what are we paying taxes for? Man, I forget the year when did black people start paying taxes. I think black people started paying taxes in the 1800s. And when they did start paying taxes, they were getting treated like you know what. And we weren't even able to benefit off of taxes. So that's not even that's a whole nother story. We'll get into that. But when did they start taxing people? Because I don't know if people know this. America did not always tax people. We did not always have a direct tax on our income. It was a excise tax, a usage tax. You only pay taxes when you do something, when you use something. Other than that, you don't pay any taxes. So that wasn't always the case. Civil War, a couple wars started us paying taxes. Before that, you didn't have to pay taxes. So here we go. A brief history in taxes in the United States. All right. Where we go? I want to get straight to the point. Taxes have been around for thousands of years, especially income taxes, but it always wasn't the case in the United States, as I just said. The country was income tax free in its infancy. That's because there was no federal government to establish one. The British government, however, proposed taxes. That's why they left Britain because they wanted to come to America, stop paying taxes, and have religious freedom. But they don't let nobody else do that, right? Uh, they included head tax, real estate taxes, infamous tax, T-tax, Boston T-tax. Those are the taxes that they imposed on the Americans from England. That's what happened there. Now, where is it? Where's my year? That's not my year. My year is where it is. Where is it over here? America started paying taxes in was it 1831? That might be wrong. I gotta figure the exact year. I don't know the exact year when Americans started paying taxes. I thought it was on my article. It is not. It is not, unfortunately. But we weren't always paying income taxes. The Civil War led to the creation of the country's first income tax and the first version of the Office of the Commissioner Internal Revenue. They didn't have all this stuff for a long time. People weren't paying taxes at all, but they were doing a lot worse stuff than taxing people, especially black people. That's a whole nother story. This is the version of income. That's what we know now as internal revenue. This office took over the individual states' responsibility for collecting federal taxes. Excise tax were also added to almost every commodity possible: alcohol, tobacco, gunpowder, tea. You pay excise tax on everything you do now. Everything you do, you got to pay excise tax on. Now, back then, tax rates were often not usually rising. For example, World War II, 1913, the marginal tax rate was 1%, 0 to 2000 on 2%, and so forth, so on. Blah, 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 blah. Bottom line is this: America wasn't always taxing us. We weren't always paying taxes, and now we got to pay taxes all the damn time. So 1861. Thank you, sir. Josh Brown, 1861. Americans were not paying taxes until 1861. I couldn't look it up. There you go. We weren't always paying taxes, and we weren't always paying taxes on our income. That's when things went bad, when they started directly taxing your income, taxing your labor, your hard work. And now they tax you on everything you do. Now, I don't know if you looked at an airplane ticket lately. Half of the ticket is taxes. Half of the ticket is taxes. If you get a flight, if your flight's $120, the flight's probably only $85. Half of the money you paying is in taxes. They really tax you. They really tax you. Thank you, Josh. Thank you, Josh Brown. I appreciate that. 1861 we were taxed. They really tax the hell out of you with flights. Man, I just came back off the cruise. A quarter of my fee was in taxes. I had to pay port fees, parking fees, seat fees, all kind of stuff, all kind of taxes. Ridiculous. They were really taxing the stuff. They're really taxing the hell out of us. But the point is this. The point is this. We weren't always paying taxes. And the thing, rich people still don't pay taxes. I don't know. Look, what happened? My thing was this. I had somebody doing my taxes. They didn't know everything about taxes. They knew they were tax preparers. Some people only do taxes around this time. They do taxes from April to June, then they're done. I needed somebody I can talk to all year because I got a letter from the IRS say I owe $500. I'm like, okay, that's not a lot of money, but why I owe this? And I said, well, damn, if I owe $500, I might owe some more. And they went back 3 years. So they hit me in 2022, and I got hit with 2019 taxes. They never tax you next year. They always wait 4 or 5 years and they tax you later. Like all these rich, famous people who get hit with these taxes, it's not like they got in tax trouble last year. They got in tax trouble 4 or 5 years ago. Because what they do is they sit around, they let the debt grow, and they're hitting you with interest. And that's funny because if the IRS is holding your money, they don't pay you interest. But if you owe them money, they charge you interest. How that work? We should be able to sue them for that. That's here nor there. But what I'm saying is, the taxes, they charge you a lot for them. Damn, I lost my train of thought. Damn it, lost my train of thought. Anyway, all these taxes, they hit us with them all. Rich people are not paying taxes, and we get taxed. Oh yeah, tax preparer. Yeah, I hired somebody. There we go. I hired somebody to help me with my taxes, and this dude told me all kinds of stuff I didn't know because I'm not a tax person. I don't know all that. Look, the tax code book is really, really thick. It changes every year, and it's designed so you don't understand it and you know it. You don't know the tax rate. Because if tax was that simple, it'd be 10%. Everybody just pay 10%. Well, look at God. God only say, look, give me 10%. That's easy. Everybody can do 10% of what they make. That's easy. But when it comes to taxes, with the United States, it's very, very complicated. Very, very, very complicated. Nobody really understands the tax code unless you're a tax accountant or a tax lawyer. Those are the people who understand the tax code, and they probably don't still understand it because it's so deep and it applies to so many different things. It doesn't make any sense. I hired somebody to do this, help me with my taxes, save me a lot of money, help me figure out how to start an LLC because an LLC you can do a lot of tax write-offs. I don't know if you know anything about that. I'm not the one to teach all that. I'll drop a video if you're interested in a video. I can see the one I watch. The guy dropped a lot of information about getting the LLC and getting all these tax write-offs because I had my comedy special. I did my comedy special, and that cost me like $10,000, whole lot of money. And from that, wrote off a lot of my income, and I made a lot more of my money back. I was like, yes, I didn't know all this stuff. So I paid a little more money to have somebody teach me what I need to do with my taxes, how I need to understand it, and how I can make some more money from it. And it worked out. So if you're trying to do your taxes at home and you feel like you're not making no money, hire a tax professional, not a tax preparer. A tax preparer only does taxes during tax season. A tax professional does taxes all year round. A tax professional can take your call November, December, and still help you with your taxes. H&R Block, they're tax preparers. They're not going to be there all year. They only rent that space. They're kind of like the Halloween store. The Halloween store set up in late September through October. They gone on early November. H&R Block and some of these places, Liberty Tax, they only set up shop half of the year, quarter during tax season. After that, they gone. You're not gonna find them. So I wouldn't fool with them. Find you somebody who's legit, who can really help you with your taxes and really help you understand this stuff. Because there's a lot of money you can be saving out here. It's a lot of stuff you can do, depending on what you got going on in your life, what you got, if you got a business or not. Even if you don't have a business, there's a lady on Instagram. She talks about having a home-based business, and just from the home-based business, you use you treat your house like a business. You write off all the expenses, your salaries and income, but all the your lights, your water, all that stuff is expenses. You can even hire your kids as employees, write that off. There's a lot of stuff you can do out here for the taxes. So it's hire somebody that can teach you that stuff and let you know what it is. The first American income tax was 1861, and Congress enacted the federal income tax in October 1913. Yes. Thank you, Josh Brown. There you go, Josh Brown. Taxes 1913. Yes, now that was when those bankers. Now I do know a story about that. They met off the coast of Georgia, and they wrote a bill, and that's when the central bank came in 1913. They changed everything. Everybody started getting taxed, and all that stuff started going down. So whole lot of stuff on taxes. I'm not going to get into all of that because I'm not the tax expert. That's not my expertise. I just want to make sure everybody gets on here and files your taxes. And if you don't, make sure you tell your tax preparer, tax professional to file your taxes and make sure you get your tax money back. Now, do I file my taxes on time? Not really. I usually wait. I file my taxes in the summer because people. I don't really need the money. I kind of let the money sit there. But I was listening to somebody say, you know what? You shouldn't do that. You shouldn't do that because the earlier I get the money back, I can put it in a high yield savings account or a money market or invest it in the stock market or put it in a bond, savings bond or something. I can put it in something that's going to pay me rather than let them sit there and hold the money and they make interest off the money. So this year I'm filing my taxes. I'm filing my taxes this week. I didn't file them today, but I'm going to file my taxes this week so I can go ahead and get my money back and I can go ahead and draw some interest on my money because it's your money and you should be able to get some money back from it. The lady she made some interesting points. She said this. She said, think about this. When you get a refund back, you're paying the government, you're giving them an interest-free loan because they get to hold that interest, they get to hold that money and draw interest on it. Now, if you owe, nobody really wants to owe. Nobody really wants to owe any money. However, the government's not making any money off of you. Now breaking even, that's kind of hard. I don't know. I've never broken even. That's very difficult. I've never broken even. I've never done that. I've owed and I've gotten money back, but I've never broken even. If you've broken even, let me know in the comments because that's pretty. You probably got it figured out. It's very hard to break even. It's very, very difficult to break even because like I said, the code is very difficult. It's convoluted. It's awful. It's very awful. That's why you got to hire somebody to do your taxes for you. And if you do your taxes yourself, nothing wrong with that, but you may not be getting all the money you can back because you don't know all the tax code. tax code changes like the drop of a hat. I know as far as like crypto, when you're dealing with like crypto and cryptocurrency, tax code changes monthly. They haven't got it figured out yet, so the tax code is always changing over there. Um, but yeah, get your taxes in and make sure you do that. I had also what else they have? Tax day, IRS expects tens of millions turn file last minute. Oh yeah. So yeah, here we go. IRS. Now a lot of people, some people are under the impression that if you don't file your taxes, they like the IRS gonna come kick your door in, you're going to jail. That's not gonna happen. They don't do that. That it doesn't work like that. Taxes due 2024 IRS expects tens of millions of returns to be filed last minute. Yeah, of course, because people don't really, people ain't really concerned about that. In this tax day, United States, most Americans, there's a penalty for people still racing to file their tax from 2023. Yeah, last year. It's 2024. You're still filing. You're supposed to file your tax return by midnight. If you don't, so what? It's not really a big. I don't even know what the penalty is. You can still file a tax return. Or you just file an amendment. You can just file an amendment. Just reach out to your tax person. It's not a really big deal. If you don't file your taxes today, nobody's going to go to jail. It's not going to really kill you. It's not going to hurt you. So I wouldn't stress that. Just make sure you get them filed and just make sure you get your money back. And make sure that you got your receipts, because like the IRS, they like to come back years later and they like to hit you with that audit. So if you're going to do anything, you writing off some big stuff or, whatever you're doing, just make sure you got some receipts so you can prove what you need to prove when you need to prove it, because you don't want the IRS coming back saying you owe money. And sometimes you can prove it. You can prove what you owe, and they could make a mistake too, because sometimes you get a letter from the IRS, you think you're automatically wrong. That is not always true. Sometimes they're wrong. So figure that out and make sure you got going on. All right. Before we continue, we got to move on to our next segment, which is interesting news. Here we go. Where is it at? Bam. Interesting news. You know what? Something I really thought about. I've read across this article. Rich people, really wealthy people, they file taxes too. And how much do they get back? Well, Mark Cuban, he let us know. Mark Cuban, he's a billionaire, owns the Dallas Mavericks. I think if he doesn't still own them, I think he was going to sell them, one of the two. Mark Cuban shares his 9-figure tax bill on IRS due day. Mark Cuban has to pay a total bill of $275,900,000 according to social media on Monday. Cuban has shared a $288 million estimate on Sunday after being asked how much he has to pay. That's a lot of money. He has to pay $288 million in. Now, question is, how much is he going to get back? Because he gets a tax return back too. Now, I don't think it had that in there. Cuban worth $5.4 billion, and he only had to pay $299 million, which is probably nothing to him. He probably makes that money in interest. So that's a drop in the bucket for that guy. That's nothing. I mean, for somebody making 100,000, 299 million, I don't know. What's that to somebody making probably $1,000, $2,000, something like that? Maybe less than him. But with that kind of money, 5.4 billion, you're making the money back so damn fast. So it is nothing to him. But I wonder how much y'all think he's getting back in there. How much you think he's getting him back in estimated tax return? Because they said he's making 299 million. How much you think he's getting back? I'm gonna guess he'll probably get about $75 million back. Probably something like that. He probably a crazy amount of money. If not, hell, maybe the whole thing. He got some tax lawyers that we can't afford. And he knows some people that we don't know. So his tax attorney and his tax situation is going to be lovely. And I always wonder, how much do those people get? How much are they getting back? Because they're paying, if you make $60,000, $70,000, you can get back $3,000, $4,000, depending on if you got kids, depending on how much you can write off, what you do, but you can get a couple grand back. So if you're spending billions of dollars, I know you can you can probably get a couple $100 million back. Who knows? Who knows how much they can get back? But I know they get a lot back. And I know I'm not a fan of paying taxes. One thing, I'm not a fan of paying taxes because they take it out your check. I don't like it coming out my check because I don't know where the money goes. I feel like they take the federal income tax, they take Medicare, they take FICA, they take unemployment. So they take a whole bunch of taxes, but you don't know where the money goes. And I don't feel like sometimes it serves me because you look around your local community, the roads needs to be done, the schools are ran out schools are ran out property tax money and federal money. I don't feel you don't see all schools aren't even, excuse me, not equal. You go to this neighborhood, this school is not great. You go to other neighborhood, school is great. Now schools rent out property taxes. Those people with nice houses and pay nice houses pay a lot of money in property taxes. That money funds the schools. That's why you see certain schools that are in this condition and some schools that are not. That's due to property taxes. The police, all those other things, they're funded by property taxes. Because you got to think, why don't rich people have a problem with what the police do? They pay property taxes and they do what they do. So property taxes, property taxes pay for a lot of stuff. A lot of stuff. But then you also got the sales tax, the excise tax. Every time you buy something, you got all those tax dollars. For example, the Kansas City Chiefs. They're trying to get a new stadium in Kansas City, and they were proposing adding a sales tax, an excise tax to all. I think to just to all common goods like buying groceries and things you buy in the city. The people of Kansas City said, no, we do not want that tax. So that tax was going to fund the stadium. Now, the owners, they're going to put up some of their money, and then the other rest of the money for the stadium comes from public tax dollars. Kansas City said, we're not going to do it. The residents of Kansas City said they're not going to do it. So are they going to move? Probably not. They're going to figure another way out to get that money. But I don't know if you know this or not, but a lot of stadiums are built off of public tax money. So they'll add a tax in there some way, somehow, sales tax, bottle cap tax, gas tax, some way, somehow. And this money goes back to the team and they build a new stadium and they get to go. Now, do you get to go to the stadium one time and go watch? No. Do you get a free ticket? No, you don't get any of that. But you pay for the stadium because they charge you those tax dollars. So we all pay for those stadiums. We all pay for a lot of stuff with our tax dollars that we don't have no access to. Of course, a lot of your money goes towards the military. A lot of your tax dollars goes to the military. We don't know how much that is. It just says federal tax, and it just goes where it goes. All this money in foreign aid, all this money that goes to Israel, all this money that goes to Ukraine, all this money that go all over the place. Your tax money, my tax money. But do we have a say so on where that money go? Heck no. What'd you say? Jesus loves you. Turn on Jesus. He's the only way into heaven. Yes, he does. Jesus does love you. And you know what? Jesus also said you got to pay taxes too, because the Lord, he wants his tithes and offering too. So everybody, you got to pay. You can't avoid them taxes. But I just want to know where my tax money going. I don't have a problem paying taxes. I don't have a problem paying taxes. I just like to know where my money's going. Just like when you go public schools, where's that money going? You pay money for public schools. Federal tax dollars, they go towards public schools. When you buy stuff, when you buy stuff locally, that money goes towards public schools. But I don't see the schools getting rebuilt. And some of these schools are not the greatest out here. So where's the money going towards the schools? Why can't teachers get higher salaries? Because that money comes from federal tax dollars, local tax dollars. Teachers can't get hired. It's just tax money. And there's plenty of tax money. So ask yourself this. If the teachers can't make more tax money, why the hell are you collecting all this money giving to everybody else? Everybody, all this foreign aid, that's tax money. But the teachers can't get no tax money. You can't get no tax money for roads, schools, all kind of stuff need done in the city. Homelessness in Los Angeles. Where's the tax money going? Apparently, they got this new homeless program. Tax money supposed to be cleaning it up. I can walk you down the street with my camera. I can show you where they at. They're not far from here. The plan ain't working. The plan ain't working. And when you do get the money, what the hell you do with it? And we can't see it. So that's my problem with taxes. We can't see the money. We don't know what the hell's going on with the money. And that's why a lot of people don't like paying taxes. And another thing about paying taxes, if you don't pay taxes, you're going to jail. If I don't pay my taxes, I got to go to jail. However, I don't have no say so what the money is used for, how the money is used, nor do I know how much money it is. But you're going to go to jail for that. That's why people don't like paying taxes, because there's so many unknowns to taxes. I'm going to tell you, when Obama was in office, a lot of people were for Obamacare. I was not, because Obama tied your health care to your taxes. Because now when you want to go get some health insurance, they want to know your income, and they can look back at your taxes, and you pay based on how much income you make. So in California, we have was it Medi-Cal, and you have the California Marketplace for Health Insurance, and you have to put down your estimated income into the calculator to figure out how much you're going to pay in health insurance. Now they will go back and look at your tax return, and if you estimate lower than what it actually is, they will come back and hit you with that tax. You'll come at them have to pay the difference. So they'll come back and be like, "Oh no, your estimated income was 100,000, but you paid insurance as if you were making $60,000 a year. You got to make up that difference." And if you don't have insurance, those months, one year I wasn't working. Oh, I was working, but I was doing some contract work. I didn't have health insurance. I had to pay. I had to pay my own health insurance out of my own pocket. It was like $700 to say, you know what, I'm healthy. I'm not going to pay it. I didn't pay it. I had to pay a penalty for not having health insurance. So just because I didn't have health insurance, I had to pay a penalty. Shouldn't that money have came back to me? Like, okay, so you're penalizing me for not having health insurance. The health insurance was expensive. I couldn't afford it. Where's that money go? That money go back to a health insurance company. So you're going to penalize me for not having health insurance and take the money, give it back to health insurance company. That's what Obama did with the health insurance. Before, if you didn't have health insurance, oh well, you just out here gambling. If something happened to you, you got to pay a medical bill. Now, if you don't have any health insurance, they're going to penalize you on your taxes, and they're going to reduce your tax refund by whatever that penalty is. So I had to pay in about $500 because I didn't have no insurance. Now insurance was going to cost me what? It was costing me $700 a month, and I wasn't even going to the doctor's office like that. It was terrible insurance. I'm like, I'm not paying that. So that's a whole nother thing. But I wasn't really a fan of Obama and the insurance thing. I thought he screwed us with that, but we're not going to get into the politics of that. But before we wrap it up tonight, what I want to talk about is this: taxes. Do taxes suck? Yes. Do you have to pay them? Yes. But if you do it right, you can get you some money back. If you talk to the right person, you get somebody to prepare your taxes who really understands, and find somebody who's well versed, who know what the hell they're doing. Somebody who can explain stuff to you. Because some people just do your taxes and they don't, like the lady who I had before, she was just doing my taxes. She wasn't explaining anything to me. I would send her all my information. She would tell me how much I was making. I'm like, okay, great. And then bam, I get all the money and we're done. But then years later, I got audited. I got hit with that $500. And I'm like, hey, wait, I need to understand this. She couldn't help me understand. So I said, you know what? I need to move on, find somebody else. Now, the tax person I have now, he has a tax business. He's open all year round. I call him up. Hey, I got a question. What do I need to do with this, that, and the fifth? Oh, Malcolm, this is what you need to do. He helped me he helped me with QuickBooks. I use QuickBooks now. I mean, I've been using QuickBooks as an accountant, but I use it on my own. Just keep track of everything. Keep track of my P&L, because now I can show my profit and loss. So when it's time to do my taxes, I don't have to have a bunch of receipts. I just send over my P&L, and I keep all my receipts attached to QuickBooks in there. So everything's all nice and organized, and it makes it easier for my tax person to do my taxes, and I get more money back, and it just saves me a lot of time and money, and just makes life easy. So bam, there you got it. Taxes. Like I said, this is not tax advice. I am not the tax advice person. I am not that. That is not my thing. I am the cheap, not broke financial literacy guy. We are here to help you save money. I help you get a new credit card, help you understand credit card points. I can help you with your budget. I can help you manage your personal. I can help you get your expenses together, but I can't help you with your taxes. I can help you understand your accounting and your business, but I can't help you with your taxes. That's not my thing. I am not the tax expert. Not trying to be, because taxes a lot. I tried to prepare taxes one year, and I dropped out during the training. I'm like, man, and then the amount of money they were paying, I'm like, this is a lot of work and not enough money. So I didn't do it. But now I got somebody else to do it. You should do the same. But if you do it on your own, make sure you know what you know. And if you don't, go ask some help. Go ask for some help. Because like to say, they're not going to audit you this year. They're going to wait 2-3 years. They're going to come back and audit you. And you don't want that. You don't want that. And if you're like a 1099 or a contractor, put that tax money in the side, put it in a money market account. Don't put it in a stock market, because you can lose it like that. Hell no. Don't put your tax money in the stock market. I wouldn't do that. Put it in a high yield savings account. If you're going to pay it quarterly, put it in the money market. If you're going to pay it at the end of the year, Then you can put it in the CD or something that's going to pay a little higher yield, that's going to hold for a little longer. Put it in there for 6 months at a time. By the time the maturity date comes, it's time to pay your taxes. You made a little money, you paid your taxes, and you all settle up there. So taxes don't have to be a terrible thing. As long as you understand what you're doing, you can get some money back and you can win out here. And that's what we all trying to do. We're trying to win. We're trying to stay cheap, not broke. And we're trying to figure out how to beat the system and not let the system beat us. I appreciate everybody for watching tonight. We will be back live again Thursday. I will have a guest Thursday. I got a comedy show on Friday. If you're here, we got a 420 comedy show on 419 Bellflower, California. Come on out, laugh, have some jokes. If you like me on YouTube, you'll love me in person. And yep, that's what it is. So see you on Thursday. Got the live show coming. I'm going to have a guest. Going to have a good time. I don't know the topic yet. Just look out for it, but we're going to enjoy. See y'all. Have a good night.